I got real with myself. And I said, this might be exactly what I need. The darkness is exactly what I need. You have to live in your own world. You can't judge yourself off of the so-called competition that we have made up in our mind. The things that, how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone. Instead of the path of least resistance, I started choosing the path of most resistance to prepare myself for the journey that was coming my way. I wanted to be one of the 1%ers, not the 99%. We live in a world that we want to be as comfortable as we can. And we wonder why we have no growth. We wonder why when the smallest thing in our life gets difficult, we wonder why we cower and we run away. Our whole life is set up in the path of least resistance. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to feel discomfort. So the whole time we're living our lives in a very comfortable area. There's no growth in that. I realized I had one life to live and I have to live it. There's not two lives, there's one life. And all these things started happening to me. Everything flipped. What am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror? That internal, it starts to build a voice in you that doesn't allow you to sleep in, doesn't allow you to take days off when you know that you're behind. It just keeps you in check throughout everything you're doing in life because it's not going to allow you to fail. I had to use this as the power that now fueled me. A lot of us don't know of a whole nother world that exists. It's on the other side of suffering. Once you break these barriers that you have made for yourself, like the mind is the most powerful thing in the world. It is so amazing that I used to be a 300-pound guy and I thought that was it. Could barely read, could do anything, and now that what was inside that person was this guy that's in front of you today. That's how scary the mind is. And that's what I started realizing through this journey. Once I got a taste of, wow, man, I haven't even cracked. I haven't even begun to crack what the mind is capable of. And when I started realizing is on the other end of suffering, that's the real growth of life. Because you realize how the mind processes shit. And you realize through hard work, you can outwork anybody, no matter how badass they are. And anybody, not just Navy SEALs, but anybody that can accomplish anything that is hard. The only separator is that they really want to be there. There's some people that get inspired, and that inspiration moves them to try to do something. But the inspiration is very high right now in this nice environment. We're in a nice environment. The ocean's out there. I'm talking to you. If I want to go to the fucking refrigerator and get something to drink, eat, I can. I watch a movie about some badasses, you're inspired. But the second you're not in this environment and you're actually doing what inspired you, that suck factor is now real. You're now there. And only those people who have been there a million times in their minds and have lived in that water and have suffered a million times and realize my legs may break, my knee may break, my bones will hurt. I will be the coldest I've been in my life. I will be miserable and accept that. I realized that. The reason I became 297 pounds is because that was comfortable. What was very uncomfortable was running. What was very uncomfortable was being on a diet. What was very uncomfortable was trying to face things that I didn't want to face. I had no growth. Why? Because I was living comfortable. So I realized for me to find growth, I had to face all these different things that made me very, very uncomfortable. My whole life is about going into the dungeon and going into that fucking area where I can go through all this shit and become a philosopher. I really am a philosopher, man. A philosopher about the mind, about how far we can go. Man, hope ain't gonna get you shit because it's not in your hands. Hope is not in your hands. You can't control hope, man. You can't. It's just hopefully this thing happens. But when you get belief, when you start to create belief, and belief isn't like an after school special. Most people think, oh man, like your mom and dad, you need to believe in yourself. That's not the belief I'm fucking talking about. It's the belief that you harness through hard work and dedication. And it's something that you know what you are capable of because you've gone there several times in those dark times. So my belief, why I kept on going back to Navy SEAL training and going back to all these different things, not because I hoped training would get easier. It's because I believed I could fucking make it. Through the training I put myself through, I just wasn't doing and executing as I should.
You want to be the baddest motherfucker ever at what you do? You're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so fucking obsessed and so driven to get there. And that's what it takes.
That's the truth.
It takes every second of your fucking life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of fucking people. It is. But if you want to fucking go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you fucking do, you've arrived. When you are misunderstood to the point where fucking people think you're psycho and you're nuts and you're this and that, why are you in the fucking gym at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning? What's wrong? You will never understand what is wrong with me.
And it becomes more and more haunting. And the more haunting it becomes, the more it doesn't allow you just to live your life. Eat those donuts, not work out, live in these mediocre, working these mediocre jobs with mediocre money, living in a mediocre house. It's saying you're better than this. It's gonna take a lot of damn work, a lot of hard work. And that's what happened to me over a period of time. That voice that haunted me got louder and louder and louder. Before I knew it, I couldn't sleep. And I had to start conquering all these things just to be at peace with myself. And so it happened at 24 years of age, and I just have never, ever turned that voice off. It's just loud now. And that was so loud that I don't hear the other voice, but we have to do. We have to be better. We have more in us. If you're not real and raw with who the fuck you are, nothing's gonna change. I just got a 17-hour flight, and I'm sitting there thinking, take a day off, no more no. But I keep on thinking too, there's always someone out there working harder than you. I'm haunted by that motherfucker. Knowing that someone out there is willing to forgo personal desires for comfort, forgo sleep, forgo whatever it takes to be better, to be the best. In life, a lot of times, a lot of us have that person out there. There may not be a name or a face to him, but he exists. You make sure in life when you think about that person, you make sure they put a name and face to it. You make sure the name and face is yours. You do the haunting. Get in somebody's head. Hold space. And all times when you want to quit, because we're all humans, you make sure you remember one thing. All those times and hours and days you sacrifice to be the best. Stay hard.